Dr. Josh Kornberg is part of the next generation of leadership. He's a business advisor who's not only a member of what I would consider that generation, but is also interested in addressing some of the various topics through writing, consulting, speaking with groups. We're happy to have you here. Josh, first, how do you define that next generation of leadership?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, well, let me first start by saying, I think this is a really interesting topic and a time to have this conversation, because as we're seeing the great resignation of individuals that we saw through the pandemic, we're seeing truly the millennial generation rising up into many of these leadership roles. And so I think this is an opportunity to really reestablish what leadership is going to look like within our workplaces, and specifically for those who are going to be leading these organizations. And so for many of those organizations, there's going to be a shift in the thinking and the decision making that's going to happen, simply because we see the world through a different lens, right? We see things differently, we perceive problems differently, and because of that, I think we act differently, and that's going to cause some rub within the workplace that as we know it now. So that's what I think we're going to see coming in this next generation of leadership.
Do you also, though, in addition to, I guess, those challenges, I mean, it's also exciting.
I would say that this is, in addition to seeing some of the shifts from the traditional mindset of leadership, we're also, I think, getting ready to experience some of the most optimistic and innovative minds take the helm that we've ever had before. I think we're going to see individuals challenging status quo. I think we are going to see growth in outcomes across all organizations and across all sectors, because that's what we have to do in order to stay relevant and to stay a leader within our own industries in which we are working.
You've written columns for Extol. You're the executive director of the Caesars Foundation. You are, I mean, developing your own, really business and consulting and lifting others in this regard. But of all the topics in the world, why this one?
Yeah, you know, I think this is an interesting topic, because I think for so many years, the millennial generations, we have gotten such a bad reputation for being the lazy ones, or being the ones who take the trophies, and we want this and we want that. And while there could be a portion that does represent, that's not everyone. And so I wanted to take a moment to speak out on behalf of those of us who know that there is still work to be done. We have important topics that we have to address as a community and as a society. And we need people who are going to step up and really push against what we currently know to be the status quo, because we have to do it. Our community needs us now more than ever, and so this is an opportunity for myself and for people around me to inspire others and to challenge others to do and to think and to be different as we continue to move into these roles in our organizations and throughout our communities.
I think, just in my own personal experience with my company, Extol Media, one of the things I find fascinating is the diversity of generations.
That's right.
And I love that. I actually really enjoy that. But I also can see some of those challenges that we have, and also people who belie the stereotypes, and then others who, okay, now I understand.
That's
stereotypes, right. There's a root out of somewhere.
That's right.
But someone like me, I'm Generation X, so what can I get out of what you share, whether that's through your writing or in speaking engagements?
Yeah. So I think what's interesting is the writing that I'm doing is not necessarily only for millennials. Right. I think what it does is it really pushes against a certain standard that we know. And so what I've been doing is I've been taking these commonly used tropes in the workplace, things that we say over and over, and really starting to think through and shift that. So one of them, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And so we have this mindset in the workplace that we just have to push harder and we just have to go harder. And so what I'm saying now is perhaps the answer to all of our problems is not just to continue to push harder, perhaps we need to take a moment and press pause for a little bit and reevaluate the situation. And so some of the known practices that we have told ourselves and that businesses have told us to be a successful leader and to be successful in our work, I'm thinking that maybe it's time to turn those on their heads a little bit and to reevaluate how practical those actually are in the year 2022 and beyond.
So then fill in the blank here. When the going gets tough, the tough.
I think, and my writing says, I think the tough shifts scope.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I look forward to talking with you more and exploring the next generation of leadership with you, Dr. Kornberg.
Thank
Josh,
you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely.